When you're standing in front of a wet floor and wondering whether that pricey extractor you saw online will actually get the job done, the hesitation feels almost like a gut check. You've probably read a handful of glossy specs, watched a couple of demo videos, and maybe even skimmed a few 5-star reviews that sound more like marketing copy than lived experience. What you really need is a straightforward look at how the machine behaves once you pull it out of the box, hook it up, and start using it day after day. That's what this review is about. No hype, just a clear picture of real value, real use, and whether the Sandia Sniper Extractor fits your needs. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the type of work that usually brings you to a floor extractor in the first place. In my own research, I kept seeing two dominant scenarios. Commercial spaces that get a lot of liquid mess. Think restaurant kitchens, gym showers, or car wash bays. And homeowners who have tackled a flood or a major renovation and need to pull gallons of water and cleaning solution out of carpet and subfloor. Those environments share a common demand. You need a machine that can stay on the job long enough to finish without constant tank swaps. And you need enough suction power to lift water, debris, and sometimes even stubborn grout residue. The Sniper's 6-gallon recovery tank is the first thing that stands out in that context. For a commercial kitchen that can dump a sink full of greasy runoff every hour, that volume translates to roughly 45 minutes of uninterrupted operation before you have to stop and empty. In a residential flood, the same tank can handle a couple of rooms of water before you need to offload. That's a practical win because the real cost of an extractor isn't just the price tag. It's the downtime you incur when you have to pause every few minutes to empty a tiny tank. The separate solution tank does the same thing for the cleaning agent, meaning you can keep the mop head saturated while you're pulling water, rather than having to stop and remix a solution every few passes. Now, suction power is where the 100 psi pump and the single 3-stage motor come into play. In the specifications you'll see the pressure figure, but what that feels like on the floor is a firm, consistent pull that can lift water from deep grout lines or pull the last droplets out of a carpet pad. I saw a few professional cleaning forums where technicians compared a 70 psi unit to a 100 psi unit on tile with epoxy grout. The higher pressure one cleared the residue in about half the passes. That's a tangible time saver, especially when you're billed by the hour. Heat can be a hidden game changer in extraction, and the Sniper's inline heater addresses a problem many users overlook: drying time. After you've sucked the water out, the floor is still damp, and in a restaurant that means a slip hazard and a longer wait before you can reopen the area. The integrated heater raises the temperature of the recovered water just enough to evaporate residual moisture faster, which can shave 10 to 15 minutes off the overall drying cycle. In a home setting, that means you're less likely to develop mold in a carpet padding that stayed damp for too long. Mobility is another practical point. The Semi-Pneumatic, non-marking wheels let you roll the unit across polished tiles or hardwood without leaving scuffs, and the wheels absorb the bumps of uneven surfaces you often find in older buildings. The trade-off is that the whole machine weighs a fair amount. The polyethylene body is sturdy, but you'll need at least 2 people to move it over a threshold. If you're a solo contractor who works in tight apartments, that could be a pain point. The single-cord design also means you have to keep the power outlet within reach of the unit's base. You can't conveniently position the machine on the opposite side of a large room and run an extension cord without risking a tripping hazard. Who should walk away with this extractor? If you run a cleaning service that tackles large floor areas on a regular schedule, the Sniper's tank capacity, pressure, and built-in heater line up nicely with the volume of work you handle. It also makes sense for property managers who need a reliable backup for occasional flood events. The capacity lets you address a basement leak or an overtopped sink without scrambling for a rental unit. Another sweet spot is auto detail shops that need to pull water from vehicle interiors while simultaneously applying a cleaning solution. The dual tank setup allows the technician to stay in the car, spraying and extracting in one fluid motion. On the flip side, if you're a homeowner who only needs to clean up a spilled drink once a month, the investment may feel disproportionate. The 6-gallon tanks are overkill for a single kitchen spill, and the weight makes storage a hassle in a small garage.